Grant Calder's getting ready to start his second year, and he knows our offense and does a real good job of running the offense. And like I said, he was honorable mention all conference for us last year, and had some real good games. We're hoping to get a little bit more consistency from him this year, being a second year court starter. And our back will be Eric Lyons. Eric did a real good job for us last year as a starting JV quarterback. He will be starting in the secondary, but last year we really didn't have an established backup quarterback. This year we have. And Chandler Calder, the halfback, he's getting ready to start his second year. He rotated a lot with Luke Hampton last year, but he also played a lot in the secondary for us last year. So we consider Chandler a starter, and he had several real good running games for us. And then fullbacks with Jake Hampton, who was a starter for us last year. He's a sophomore. He did an outstanding job for us there. And Cody Triplett, he was a fullback on JV last year. He's a junior. We were hoping to rotate them two guys because they were both going to be starting linebackers for us. Coming back is Garrison Wagner, starting center. Our starting right guard is Lucas Edwards, and starting left guard is Houston Murphy. They're the three starters coming back. We hope to be a little bit more consistent up front with them guys being starters, and hopefully we can move the football running a little bit. Tackles, Colson Seal, he's our starting right tackle. Brad Wishon's our starting left tackle. Colson Seal's a sophomore. He was started at tackle last year on JV and did a good job for us. He's got a lot stronger in the weight room. Brad Wishon, he didn't play last year. I think he played in the past, but he didn't play my first year here, and he's doing a real good job for us at left tackle. And then we've got our tight end, Gavin Moxley. He's back from last year. Like I said, our offensive line, we're hoping to be a little more consistent with them. Split end is Austin Sprinkle. He came out this year. He's a sophomore. He's a real good athlete, and he's still learning the offense, but he's going to be a good football player. And our wing back is Andrew Whitehead. Had some real good runs tonight. He was starting free safety for us last year, but we moved him wing back this year. Two defensive ends. One is George Santos. He's a senior, and he's never played football before, but he's got some potential. He's a little behind the eight ball. He's learning the game, man. But, he's shown flashes of being a good football player. And the other defensive end is Nick McKnight. He's a sophomore, played JV for us last year. And been pleased with Nick and like what he did for us last year. And then inside at nose guard, we got Maru and Nate Dickens. Nate's been doing a good job for us. He played for us last year, and he had some injuries and couldn't finish the season. And Marood is his first year playing. He's another one. He's still learning the game. And our other defensive tackle is Taylor Nestor. He was a defensive end for us last year, and we moved him inside thinking, a little bit stronger than he was last year and maybe stuff to run up the middle. And our two inside linebackers are back, Lucas Edwards and Houston Murphy. They've been looking real good in practice. In fact, the whole linebacking crew's back, but we like to have a little bit more aggressive play out of them. And then the outside linebackers, Jake Hampton and Brandon Eubank, they're back from last year, and we kind of got beat on the ends a lot last year. But they were both first-year varsity players last year, so we're hoping to get a little bit more out of them. And in the secondary, we've got Daniel Teague. He's a senior. He started last year. He's a second-year starter. He's looked better this year. And the other two, Justin Todd is free safety. He's a senior. He didn't play last year for us. He's looked pretty decent. And Eric Lyons, the JV quarterback from last year, he's the other starting corner, and he's been doing a good job for us. We want to be consistent. We weren't very consistent last year. We'd have a good game offensively, and the defense wouldn't play very well, and then we'd have a good game defensively, and the offense wouldn't play very well. Even in the two wins we had, one side kind of failed the other one a little bit. The numbers have really picked up this year. We went from 35 kids, we're up to 55 kids this year, so it's a work in progress.
We got to get our kids hungry. Winning is addictive, and once you get a taste of it and a consistent taste of it, then that's kind of that's the only thing you're worried about, And I feel like, early on, sometimes our kids get into survival mode in practice where they're, just trying to survive the heat, and just get through it. Whereas winning teams are out there competing, They're trying to make themselves better every snap. They're out there digging to find the edge, so to speak. So we got to get our kids in that competitive mindset. We've been actively searching for that position since February. this year, and we brought our kids in, our quarterbacks and running backs in every Monday and Wednesday in the morning at 6 a.m. Film study, chalk talk, drills, things of that nature. Just trying to figure out who that's going to be. We've got two guys that kind of emerged out of that, which is Zach West and Jathan Sells, and we've got a young kid that I think is going to be really good, Colby Holcomb. You know, we're looking for those three guys to, you know, get in there and battle for it. The biggest challenge in running an offense is finding a threat inside. You know, we want to find a guy that plays the traditional fullback spot. We call him a B-back. That is a threat. You know, he's not so much a fullback like you would see in other offenses. We're not looking for the big, strong kid. We're looking for a kid that can slash and run and that can get from 0 to 60 in, you know, 0.2 seconds. We got a great athlete right there, Dustin Vernon. We think he can do it. We're going to give him an opportunity there, and also Alvin Sales playing that spot as well. And out of those two guys, I think we can get it done there. The two halfback positions, Jathan Sells has one of those currently, and Dalton Key is the other one. Our offense, we usually play with just one receiver, one tight end. We will flex the tight end out some and have two receivers. We have the ability to move it back out of the backfield and get into trips. We can move them both out and get into doubles. We'll vary formations more than what people think. But right now we've got a kid named Josh Smith, who is a long, lanky kid that we think in time can be really good out there for us. We had a kid move in recently named Austin Pearson, and Austin is playing our tight end position. He's a great athlete, smart kid, seems to be a solid football player. That's our two guys out there right now. Philip Hemrick is a backup receiver. One thing to note, everybody on offense is an underclassman, with the exception of Dalton Key, the halfback, and one offensive lineman. And we're fairly young on defense too now. We only have 3, maybe 4 over there. We got one returner from last year's offense. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. You know, this is a brand new system. This is a brand new offense. There's a lot of little intricacies to this thing. And starting with a blank board is not a bad thing. You know, sometimes you have to get in there and you have to erase old tendencies, old habits, old terminology, you know, because it is different, you know. So some of these kids are playing new spots. They're in new positions that they have never played before. But for our offense, it fits. It fits what we want out of them. And they've got to trust it and get it done. So we are young, very, very young. The team that we put out there on offense will be the team that you see again next year. We return a kid named Chris Green, who's an all-conference caliber player, big, strong kid. If he plays up to potential, he can be real tough for our opponents to block inside and to try to control inside. He's, you know, 6'1", 6'2", probably 250 pounds. He's slimmed down a lot since I got here in January. His mobility is a lot better than it was back in January. He's made big strides there. Next to him is a kid named Alvin Walker. The game's changed a little bit. You know, it's not so much get in there tight and just jam it. You know, the style of the game overall is spread it out. And when you spread the field and you create space, you got to have guys that can move and run on defense. Now, this conference, I think, you know, we kind of kid around about it being the Wing T Mountain Conference or something. You know, it seems like everybody's running a version of the Wing T up here. But so our two inside guys are strong kids. They're big, strong kids. Alvin Walker is not a big kid by stature. He's built low to the ground. He's probably 5'6". He's hard to block just because he is built low and he plays low. He's tough to handle inside. I think just from looking at it, I think he could potentially be as big a problem as Chris is for people. Outside of our end positions is Austin Pearson. Okay. And then we talked about him playing some tight end, so we look for him to fill a role both ways. And other outside guy they got right now is a sophomore named Joseph Shoemate. Shoemate is one of those kids that if I had 5 of him, we could roll. I mean, he's probably 15 years old. He looks like he's 20, you know, big old beard, you know, just strong kid, aggressive. When he puts his hands on you in a drill, you know it. We like Shoemate out there a lot. I mean, I think he's doing a good job. And Pearson kids, you know, he came in and has picked up on stuff well, and he's an athlete. And so I think we're pretty athletic out there. We're athletic inside too. Smart players, headsy players. Key has gotten a lot faster than he was last year. He's playing at a different speed. just from what I saw on film. And I think Faircloth is the bigger, stronger of the two. But Zach, from what I've seen so far, makes quick reads, and he just seems to be a guy that finds the football, and he's always around it. He's also a really good wrestler, too. Runner-up in state in his weight class in wrestling, so he's tough. Right now we're looking at 2 kids at free safety. We haven't, they're kind of battling it out in there. The Josh Smith kid that's a receiver, and also Derek Woody. They're kind of duking it out at free safety. We got Dylan Gray at corner, athletic kid, and then Jathan Sells is the other corner. Cody Mathis is a kid that is coming back out to football for the first time in a few years. He's a senior, great wrestler, great kid, tough. He's a tough kid. Range, he's put together well. He's got some ability to him. So we think in time that he'll step right in right there. And at center, we got a battle going on right there between a kid named Dash Kilby and Cody Colbert. Not sure exactly what's going to pan out with that. We'll feel pretty good about either one of those. Cody's more athletic out of the two. Our 2 guards are typical mountain linemen, I guess you could say. 5'11", 275, both of them. They both look the same. Kalen Jarvis. Kalen's a kid that has done everything right up to this point in the weight room, and he's made himself better. He's more flexible. He can get down in his hips and play a little bit. We're not coming off the ball up front the way we need to be right now, and we're working on that. But we think Kalen can step in there and do a good job for us. And on the other side is a kid named Austin Prevette. Austin is he looks like a carbon copy of Kalen. They're the same height and weight. They're bigger, more physical type kids. Now our 2 tackles on offense is non-typical linemen. They're going to be light, mobile. We don't ask those guys to block the first level much. They're going to be locked on linebackers a lot. So we're looking for more smaller, quicker types right there. And we've got a kid named Jacob Purdue, again, has transformed himself in the weight room over the last 6 months. He's made the most progress of any player that we have in the weight room, so he's going to get a chance there at tackle. And then the other one is Cody Mathis, who is the outside linebacker. Cody's picked up well right in there. And we're also going to look at Derek Woody some in there, who is battling it out for free safety. I don't know how many teams in the state would have a free safety plan. Our free safety might be a 50s or a 60s number. We got to be real good on defense, and that's one of the things. We've got a really good defensive staff. Doug Faulkner does a great job, and I don't have to worry about that. I know he'll do a great job over there, and those coaches will do a great job over there. So I think keys for us early, especially early in the schedule, is we've got to be able to put the clamp on people defensively and give our offense a couple extra possessions. Offensively, we've got to take care of the football and not make costly mistakes. If we can play clean, and what I mean by that is limit mental mistakes, limit turnovers, limit penalties. If we can do those things and play solid defense, I think we'll have a chance to scratch out some wins early. And if we can get in the win column early in our schedule, momentum's a funny thing in sports. It's hard to explain, and that goes back to winning cures all. It's going to take a few weeks, maybe even half a season or so, for us to start firing on cylinders. And right now our linemen are thinking. I can tell they're thinking. It's got to become second nature. The mental part, there can't be any thought process. Thought process has to shift to not who am I blocking, but how does coach want me to block, execute this block. So right now we're still thinking who, technique's not right, timing's off a little bit. So that stuff's going to get ironed out as we go along, for sure. And, and I hate to say this because I'm probably going to jinx myself, but we got to stay injury-free. I know everybody says that, but we really do, because we're sharing some skilled kids, and we don't have any depth there.